In Hollywood, $4 million barely covers a catering bill. So then what if I told you one of the most visually captivating horror films of the past decade was made on the same budget as a mid-tier rom-com?
Then take your leave. Trouble us no further.
The Witch. Robert Eggers' 2015 debut wasn't your typical high-budget horror movie. No millions of dollars in effects, no A-list actors, no flashy marketing campaign. No, Eggers made this period nightmare on a shoestring $4 million. But here's the kicker, it doesn't actually look like a low-budget movie, and yet it managed to do what many bigger films couldn't, make an indelible impact on cinema and in the horror space as we know it.
Our children.
So how on earth did Eggers pull it off? A psychological horror film that should have cost 10 times the $4 million it took to craft. Take dialogue, for example. Most period films settle for something that sounds old-fashioned. But Eggers, he spent 4 years researching and pulling straight from 17th century Puritan journals, court records and diaries. And in case I forgot to mention, making a period film this good is expensive. Every detail, costume, prop, set design, they all have to be historically accurate. So how did he manage to make an entire 1613 Puritan nightmare feel real without the deep pockets of a major studio? Well, he started by doing something many filmmakers wouldn't dare. He built his world from the ground up, literally. He refused to use existing historical locations. Instead, he and his team constructed the entire farmstead from scratch, using only 17th century building techniques. Every log, every nail, every thatched roof, authentic. It wasn't about cutting costs, it was about control. He wanted every inch of the set to feel lived in. When the cameras rolled, it wasn't just a setting, it was a real place. Real history, real textures, and real limitations. And speaking of limitations, Eggers knew exactly how to use them to his advantage. Instead of filling the screen with extravagant set pieces and massive crowds, he stripped it down. The Witch is a claustrophobic film, both visually and narratively. He kept his cast small, his locations minimal, and his shots purposeful. His obsession with historical accuracy wasn't just a gimmick, it was the foundation of the film's entire atmosphere. Eggers and his cinematographer Jarin leaned into the natural world, using overcast skies, towering trees, and harsh shadows to create a world that feels oppressive. No Hollywood studio lights, no artificial fog machines, just real landscape, real light, and a whole lot of patience, because if the sky wasn't cloudy enough, they'd wait. Then there's lighting. Kubrick spent a fortune shooting Barry Lyndon with custom NASA lenses to capture natural candlelight. Eggers didn't have that kind of budget, so they used high sensitivity digital cameras to get the same effect, capturing the flicker of real candlelight without any artificial lighting.
Live deliciously.
Yes.
Wouldst thou like to see the world?
What will you from me?
The film's sparse cast and limited locations weren't constraints, they were intentional choices. Eggers let the actors breathe, and the isolation of the setting made every moment feel more intense. Without all the bells and whistles of a larger production, the rawness of The Witch became its most haunting strength. But it's not just about how The Witch looks, it's about how it sounds. While most films are packed with loud scores and jump scares, The Witch turns down the volume, letting silence and subtle sound design become its most unsettling elements. Now let's talk about casting, another area where Eggers made bold choices. Instead of opting for a bankable star, Eggers chose relative unknowns, actors who could pull off the Arctic dialogue and fully commit to the gritty realism of the story. It wasn't about star power, it was about believability. Anya Taylor-Joy, who played Thomasine, was relatively unknown at the time, but her haunting performance made her an instant star. Her portrayal of a young girl torn between faith and fear, battling the suffocating control of her family, is what made her performance stand out in such a limited space. Eggers and his cinematographer didn't just shoot the film, they crafted every frame to pull you into the character's isolation. The long takes heightened the tension, while close-ups trap you in their fear. The wide shots make the vast, empty world feel overwhelming, showing just how small and powerless the characters are. He knew that the true horror isn't what you see, it's in what's lurking just out of sight. But The Witch didn't just look authentic, it felt authentic, and that's where Eggers' real genius comes in. Every line of the dialogue was stripped down from 17th century journals, court records and folklore. He wasn't just making a horror film, he was resurrecting a time period, down to the way people spoke, the way they moved, even the way they feared. And here's the craziest part, he trusted the audience to keep up. No modernized dialogue, no exposition dumps to explain the world, just pure immersive storytelling that forces you to meet it on its own terms. Then there's sound design. Horror movies usually go for big, screeching violins, sudden bass drops, and jump scares. But The Witch, it builds dread in something even more unnerving, silence. Long stretches of stillness broken only by whispers, the creak of trees, or that eerie, almost ritualistic choral score. And where the horror does strike, it's not a ghostly face hopping up in the dark. It's something far more psychological. A mother's grief, a father's helplessness, a family slowly turning on itself. The real terror isn't the witch in the woods, it's the breakdown of trust, of faith, and sanity.